Jó napot kívánok! Ez a Pont.eu, a Pannon Televízió Európai Uniós magazinműsora. A mai adás központi témája a gazdaság. Szó lesz a robotokról, az autógyártásról és a mezőgazdaságról is. Megtudhatják, hogy az Unió hogyan harcol a növényvédőszerek káros hatásai ellen, de az Erasmus Plus ösztöndíj program néhány résztvevője is elmeséli tapasztalatait. Tartsanak velünk! Egy korábbi adásunkban már szó volt arról, hogy az Unióban komolyan gondolkodni kezdtek a robotok jogairól. Számos kérdést felvet a téma. Például vannak robotok, amik a működésük során tanulnak és új tulajdonságokat fejlesztenek ki. Kik a felelősek az ő tetteikért? A programozójuk, a felhasználójuk, vagy felelősségre vonható maga a robot? De további kérdések is vannak, ezek közül szemezgetünk most.
From industrial robots to medical equipment, drones, toys or domestic appliances, robotics and artificial intelligence are increasingly becoming a part of our daily life. The European Parliament is the first institution in the world trying to legislate on legal and ethical issues related to artificial intelligence.
Il y a une révolution en marche puisque déjà il y a beaucoup de robots, il y en aura beaucoup à l'avenir et ils seront présents dans tous les domaines de la vie. J'ai réussi à convaincre la commission juridique de créer un groupe de travail pour justement s'occuper des implications juridiques mais aussi éthiques que la robotique aurait sur nos sociétés.
In Pisa, the Sant'Anna Institute, an important centre for robotics, is part of the European project RoboLaw. Here, researchers are studying the question of robots' liability and other legal aspects. For them, the interest of the European Parliament in such issues is positive and paves the way for a new approach towards robotics, even if the task is complicated.
La robotica è un mondo estremamente vasto, quindi che un approccio troppo generale rischia di non arrivare al cuore dei problemi.
Andrea Bertolini is an expert in private law. For him, robots are not like any other product, though current laws are applied to them.
Those laws were developed having different kinds of devices in mind, so the solutions they bring about may not be the best solutions when it comes to robotics.
In case of an accident caused by a robot, a driverless car for example, who is liable?
En principe, le chauffeur n'a plus de responsabilité, donc se pose la question qui va porter l'assurance.
Is it the producer? Is it the programmer? Is it the user? That is a very complicated and expensive question to answer. It makes much more sense to hold liable the party that is best placed to minimize that cost and minimize that risk. This is what I call a risk management approach. In that scenario, I or the producer could purchase insurance covering all costs associated with that liability.
Not only are more and more autonomous robots getting closer to the market, but in laboratories, engineers are designing robots with the capacity to learn from their environment, their experience, and to take independent decisions.
Prendi la bottiglia, per favore.
Dans ce cas-là, se pose la question, est-ce que c'est toujours le programmeur qui est responsable de l'action puisque l'environnement a une influence sur le robot?
For the European Parliament, a possible answer might be to give that category of robots an e-personality.
Electronic personhood means treating robots as corporations, so a legal entity that has some rights and obligations that are purely instrumental to pursue a specific economic interest of a human being.
Another major concern for the European Parliament is the ethical issues raised by robotics, not least the dependency relationship that might develop between a human and a robot, in particular in the case of vulnerable people.
Bisogna essere attenti a non indurre persone vulnerabili a credere che il robot sta effettivamente avendo delle emozioni che come macchina non può avere.
Finally, could legislating on all these issues hamper innovation?
Al contrario potrà rappresentare un volano per la crescita in questo settore, perché la certezza giuridica favorisce la ricerca e anche lo sviluppo industriale.
Developing standards is of strategic relevance because those standards will emerge. They might become American standards, they might be international standards. If they are European standards, it's clear that European industries will be at an advantage.
Nous sommes à un bon moment puisque les États membres n'ont pas encore fait de législation, donc nous pourrons créer un cadre et les États membres pourront s'en inspirer pour avoir les règles qui s'appliquent dans toute l'Union européenne.
Maradunk a tudomány és a fejlesztések témájánál, ezúttal annak nézünk utána, hogy mennyi nő dolgozik ezen a területen.
Natalia Kosmina is a young 26-year-old researcher. Originally from Ukraine, she now works in a research centre in France. An artificial intelligence specialist, she showed how drones can be piloted using mind control. Since Marie Curie became the first woman to receive the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1911, more and more women have been pursuing scientific careers. However, today, just a third of researchers in the EU are women. They remain underrepresented in the research and development field and in high levels of decision-making.
Girls are afraid a bit of new technologies. It seems to be occupied by men. So I think in an early stage we have to make them feel comfortable with the new technologies, and then we will get even more women in science.
Almost 50% of all PhD graduates are actually women, but numerous social and cultural obstacles prevent women from embarking on a scientific career path.
En tant que députée européenne, il me manque des femmes scientifiques, parce qu'il y a des sujets, que ce soit le nucléaire, que ce soit la santé, que ce soit le problème, par exemple, des pilules de 3e ou 4e génération où il y a des scandales, j'ai très peu de femmes, vous voyez, pour soulever ces problèmes-là. C'est très rarement les hommes qui les soulèvent. Donc il faut vraiment féminiser les filières scientifiques.
MEPs regularly launch initiatives to encourage women to start careers in science. It's also the objective of the International Day of Women and Girls in the Sciences.
A folytatásban az autógyártásról lesz szó. Az Európai Unióban jelenleg, ha valamelyik tagország kiadja a szükséges engedélyeket, jóváhagyásokat egy járműre vonatkozóan, akkor az szabadon forgalmazható a többi tagországban is. Egyesek szerint azonban ez számos visszaélésnek adhat teret. Az Unióban azon dolgoznak, hogy a rendszer megváltozzon.
It was a scandal that rocked the entire car industry and angered the public. In late 2015, car maker Volkswagen admitted that millions of its diesel vehicles were equipped with software that could cheat emissions tests. Other major brands have since come under scrutiny as well. Many asked how could this have gone undetected in the EU? The fallout led to strong calls for an overhaul in the type approval regime. That's the current system of testing and approving cars' compliance with the law. But car manufacturing is a core business for several member states, so agreeing on exactly how to shake up the industry hasn't been easy. Under current rules, a manufacturer can obtain approval for a vehicle type in one EU country and sell it across the bloc without further tests. Some say this allows car makers to shop and choose a country where they can easily get approval. MEPs want to put a stop to such practices. A draft law is being debated. To curb cheating, they want strong and clear obligations for countries to fulfill in controlling the type approval process. They also want independent EU auditors to check on whether member states are conducting this surveillance to a T.
Kevesebb bürokrácia, gyorsabb, gördülékenyebb fejlődés. Ebbe az irányba mozdulna el az Európai Unió gazdaságpolitikája. Mutatjuk a részleteket.
The president of the European Central Bank arrives at a meeting of the Committee for Economic Affairs. His job today is to lay out the ECB strategy for the next few years. This is called monetary dialogue. Lawmakers want to know if EU monetary policies are on the right track. Knowledge is power. When voting, MEPs can make their own decisions with the correct information at hand. But the EU's economic policies are more than just monetary. Textile, car manufacturing, construction, these are only some of the sectors which are sensitive to globalization. For majority of MEPs, people working in those sectors deserve to be protected. Among the tools at the EU's disposal is the European Globalization Fund, for less skilled workers and those more at risk to get new jobs when a factory shuts down. And the EU's structural funds that help people in rural areas, fishermen and poorer regions catch up with the rest of the EU.
It's essential, it works really good, but it can be done faster. It can be done in a simpler way. So the proposals now, also from my side, go in the direction of less bureaucracy, the quicker spending, and be more closer to the people.
Because of the financial crisis of 2008, public investment in the EU decreased considerably. When that happened, Europe stepped in to invest in jobs and growth. But lawmakers want this kind of investment to be simplified and even more accessible. They believe that whenever EU funding works, EU citizens should be the first to know about it.
A növényvédőszerek köztudottan egészségkárosító hatásúak, egyes vegyszerek akár rákot is okozhatnak, az összefüggés azonban csak évekkel később mutatható ki. Az Unióban megpróbálják kiszűrni a káros anyagokat, de hogyan teszik mindezt, most kiderül.
This machine is spraying pesticides on rapeseed. Although fast and effective for plant growth, the chemicals are extremely hazardous to health. This French farmer is now suffering from cancer due to the use of pesticides on his farm. Pesticides are found everywhere in fruits and vegetables and, according to reports, even in babies' nappies. MEPs want to promote and accelerate the use of biological pesticides instead.
We use too much of ordinary commercial pesticides which are chemical, which are mostly dangerous. These chemicals were designed to kill living subjects, and they are causing damage on our health as well.
Today, only 7 biopesticides have received official certification, but getting EU market approval takes time, and biopesticides are often refused because they are less effective than their chemical counterparts. MEPs want to simplify and speed up the approval process.
Wir reden da ja oft auch von Organismen, also von Viren, Bakterien, Nematoden, und die müssen dann ein ganz normales Anerkennungsverfahren durchlaufen. Das ist nicht nur langwierig, sondern es ist vor allem auch teuer.
Some farmers have already embarked on alternative techniques without pesticides, but this takes more time and effort, and biopesticides could be the solution.
Az európai parlamenti képviselők témák százait vitatják meg. De hogy van ez? Mindenki ért mindenhez? Nem, a munkájukat úgynevezett szakbizottságok segítik, amik előkészítik a témákat és a szükséges anyagokat. Ezeket a szakbizottságokat pedig képviselők kisebb csoportjai alkotják, elmagyarázzuk részletesen is.
How does the European Parliament make decisions on such a wide variety of complex issues? 20 specialised committees prepare the subjects to be discussed by all MEPs in the Parliament's full or plenary sessions. 3 prominent committees are the ones for civil liberties, justice and home affairs, environment, public health and food safety, and budgetary control. A committee consists of 25 to 70 MEPs and has a chair, vice chairs and a secretariat. The political makeup of each committee reflects that of the Parliament as a whole. Each committee meets once or twice a month. Meetings are held in public in Brussels. Committees consider and amend the legislative proposals of the European Commission and start the negotiations on these with the EU ministers. They also draft resolutions on topical matters. Parliament may also set up special committees to deal with particular issues or to investigate allegations of maladministration.
...30 éves az Erasmus, ami most már Erasmus Plus néven működik. Diákok, tanárok és iskolai szakmunkatársak ezreinek biztosított utazási és fejlődési lehetőséget. Most a csereprogram néhány résztvevője mondja el tapasztalatait.
Sziasztok, Gellért vagyok. Lehetőséget kaptam arra, hogy együtt dolgozzak a kedvenc cukrászaimmal. Fantasztikus élmény volt bepillantani a munkájukba. Ennek köszönhető, hogy tortáimmal díjakat is nyertem. Az Erasmus Plus-tól azt tanultam, amit a vendégeimnek nyújtok nap mint nap, a legjobban dolgozni, a legjobb minőségben. Ezt a sok pluszt adta nekem az Erasmus Plus.
Hallo, ik ben Roberto. Ik bracht mijn leerlingen in contact met leerlingen overal in Europa. Dankzij de nieuwe technologie konden we over grenzen heen nauw samenwerken. Zo hebben we allemaal onze horizon enorm verruimd. Les krijgen en les geven werd zo nog uitdagender en nog leuker. Dat zijn de pluspunten van mijn Erasmus+.
Hello, jiena Ruth. Ħadsem fi proġett għall-inklużjoni soċjali. Il-proġett ta' vuċi lill-individwi li ma jiġux mismuha. Sirt naf stejjer interessanti minn persuni affaxxinanti. Kollegi mill-Ewropa kollha issa saru ħbieb kbar tiegħi. Ir-riċerka tiegħi ġiet tradotta f'7 lingwi Ewropej. Inħoss li jiena żviluppajt bħala persuna. Dawn kienu l-vantaġġi tal-Erasmus Plus tiegħi.
Здравейте, аз съм Христина.
Мене звати Юрій.
Мономеска Анджела. Our universities joined together to modernize higher education in 10 countries. Being part of this network was really uplifting.
We involved students in the decision making.
Their fresh ideas changed our ways of thinking.
For the universities, it was a big step towards a new management approach.
For the students, it is a valuable stepping stone for their careers. These were the pluses
of our Erasmus Plus.
Jeg hedder Mina. Jeg koordinerede 200 frivillige for at hjælpe flytning. Det gav mig et skub til at tage fyring. Jeg løste problemer og indså, at smil er det bedste belønning. Hvor jeg anstillede min kuffert, fik jeg nye venner. Jeg blev bekræftet i, at små handlinger kan gøre stor forskel. Det var plusserne ved min Erasmus Plus.
Ciao, sono Martina. Mi sono allontanata dal mio nido. Imparando una lingua nuova in un altro paese, ho scoperto nuovi modi di pensare. Ho raggiunto l'indipendenza facendo tutto da sola. Mi sono messa in gioco e ho persino infranto un record mondiale. Soprattutto, ho trovato la mia forza interiore. Questi sono stati i vantaggi del mio Erasmus Plus.
Európai Uniós magazinműsorunkat, a Pont.eu-t látták. Várom Önöket a jövő héten is, ugyanígy szombaton este 6:30. Viszontlátásra!